I rescued a cat. So they're going to say I adopted. I rescued this cat. Like, it was a kill shelter, and I went and got him, and I didn't really have a choice, as handsome as he was. This cat struck me. He had just real big cat, had long orange hair. He was so good looking that I named him Paul Newman, if that gives you an idea. That's how handsome he was. And I got him home, and I'm not even a cat guy, but he was super affectionate. He would do this thing where he would jump up on my lap while I was watching television, and then I would put my face down, and I would go, Midgie, Midgie, Midgie. And then he would take his little nose, and he would put it up against mine, and there would just be this wet little dink. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm still the baddest motherfucker you know. I'm just saying I like this cat. He got me. I knew it too, because I would be at work, and like my friends would be like, hey, you want to go out and get a drink after work? And I'd be like, I can't. I have to go home to my cat. And like, I heard the words coming out of my mouth, and I was like, I don't care. That's how much I like this cat. But I made a big mistake when I first got him. I let him go outside. And if you've ever had an outdoor cat, it's kind of like having a roommate that's in a band. You know, you just kind of got to accept the fact they're not going to be around all the time. But that was okay. Like, we found a way to make it work. Like, he would be gone a couple days, but then he'd be home for a couple days. And like I said, our love found a way. About 3 months in, he went missing for like 5 days. And I had no idea where he was. He'd been gone for like 2 days at a time, but 5 was a lot. And so I went out in my backyard, and I was calling him. You know, I was doing the pss, 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 pss. Paul Newman. Pss, pss, pss. And I look over, and my neighbor is this older woman, and she's up on her deck, and she's looking at me a little strangely, like, rightfully so. And she goes, what's going on? I said, well, I think my cat's missing. And she goes, is it Fluffy? And I went, is the cat Fluffy? Yeah, I was like, yeah, I guess kind of. He's got orange hair, long. He's very handsome, if that tells you anything. And she goes, oh my gosh, I love that cat. He comes up here every day with me in the morning, and he sits with me on my lap. And I pet him while I'm reading the newspaper. It's like, please let me know. And I was like, oh, all right. And then I went inside, and like part of like my heartbrokenness of him missing was like now gone, because I was pissed. I was actually pissed at the thought of like her sitting with my cat. But then he did. He showed up back home the next day. I don't know where he was. He didn't tell me. But after that, like, things changed a little bit. After he had got this little taste of freedom, he started staying away for longer periods of time. And, you know, it'd be 5-6 days that he would be gone. And then when he did come home, it wasn't the same, like, little sweet Paul Newman that I knew before. Like, he would come in, and I'd open the door and be like, hey, Midgie, Midgie, and he would walk right past me. And I'd be like, oh my God, like, what happened? And then he would just eat his food and leave. It was like feeding a stray but it sucked. And I tried to like stop him on the way out and be like, hey, maybe like just once a week we'd have a night where it's just the two of us. But he'd be gone. And it really started bugging me. And then one day I come home from work, and there's a note on my door, and it says, come over quick, there's something wrong with Mr. Fluffy. And I went, oh, this is the woman next door. It calls him something else. And so I walk over there, and I knock on the door, and she opens it, and I'm like, is Paul Newman here? I don't know what to say to her. And she says, thank you so much for coming over. She said, I took the last couple days off from work to watch him. And I went, wait, what? You took time off of work to hang out with the cat? And then she goes, well, I had to, because when I took him to the vet, and I went, wait a minute, wait. You're not supposed to let the cat in your house. Like, there's one thing on the deck. And I was like, and then you changed his name, and now you're taking him to the vet? And then all the pieces started coming together. And I saw little cat toys on the floor. And I saw like one of those little carpeted cat perches, like one of the nice ones in the windowsill. And she had like a little bowl of food out in the kitchen. And then Paul Newman wandered out of her bedroom. I said, I'm sorry, is this a bad time? I said, this is insane. You're like the Jolene of cats. Like, you stole my cat from me. And so I picked him up, and I said, stay away from us. Like, he's mine. And I left, and I took the cat with me, and we went home, and I put him down on the ground, and I said, well, that bitch is crazy, huh? Why don't we? I was like, come on, let's go cuddle and talk about it, But the cat's just like staring at the door, like he wants to leave again. And I was like, Paul, what are you doing? Come on, let's go. But the cat's just like staring at the door. And I went, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. The cat toys and the cat perch. You're falling for all that material bullshit, aren't you? I said, okay, you know what? We may not have all those nice things over here, but you know what we do have? We have us. And that makes me somewhat of a rich man. I said, now come on, let's go upstairs. You can sit at the foot of the bed and keep my feet warm. And I started to go up, and he's just staring at the door, and I went, I hate you. I don't hate you. I'm upset. And I told him, I said, I'll tell you what my friends at work are telling me. I don't want to go here, but they're saying maybe I should get a new cat. Right. Maybe a kitten, something younger, I said, but I'm not going to do that, okay? Because when I rescued you, when I did that, I made a pact that it was you and me. I said, now come on, let's go upstairs and put an end to this. And so I started to head upstairs, and he's just staring at the door. And I went, okay, I actually hate you. I don't hate you. I've just been hurt so many times, So I go to bed angry, which you're not supposed to do, but I did it anyway. And the next morning was just super awkward. Neither one of us were looking at each other. I'm just walking by in the hallway. And you've been there before. And then I get a call from my vet. And he says, hey, Mike, we got the lab results back on Mr. Fluffy. And I was like, it's Paul Newman. I think it's in the file. And he goes, yeah, well, he said, turns out he has a really bad urinary tract infection. And if your neighbor hadn't brought him in, he would have died. And he said, and she's picked up a substantial bill. Just paid all of it. All you got to do is bring the cat back in. We'll take care of it. And I said, all right. And I hung up the phone and I said, this is bullshit. I've had enough. And I went over to the cat, and I picked him up. I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over to that woman's house right now. I'm going to put you down on the floor, and the two of us are going to stand on opposite sides of the floor, and whoever you walk to is your new owner or your old owner, because I'm done with this. I can't take it. And I'm walking over there, and I'm petting. I'm like, please pick me. Please pick me. And we get over there, and I knock on the door, and before I can lay my plan out for her, the cat leaps out of my arms and into hers, with the paws over the shoulder. She's holding like a baby. And then she looked down at him, and they did the midgy right in front of my face. And I said, Paul, you're dead to me. Thank you. You're not dead to me, Paul. Oh, my God, just come home. The door's always open. I love you. Okay.